that reminded me that I need to do is go through the follow-up, which I do have a note here. Once I'm done scrubbing, I need to go through the follow-up. I need to tie back to the thorns. I need to add the patterns from the follow-up research that I did, which that was part of it. Use the tooltips, add the patterns, and then tie the categories. Maybe tying the categories back to the pillars of gaming UX, because I do want it to be educational and as well. So I have to think about how that's going to work. So then I have to figure out how to make that work with my limited ability to develop anything, and the LMS that I'm using. So yeah, all the fun stuff. How do I make it work? But let's figure out what it is I want to do first. Okay, content first. It's one of the reasons I go through waves. I like do passes. I'll do a pass, I'll do a pass, I'll do a pass. It's because I learned that I get overwhelmed when I think about too much at once. And so this is something important to think about for yourself, is that if you've got a project or something that you're just feel like really overwhelmed with, and this can happen to me if I let myself do this, because I do big stuff, is that I can feel very overwhelmed, and let myself feel very overwhelmed, and that will stop me in my tracks. What I've learned is that if I do passes, okay, so I need to like box up, because I'm an Enneagram 5, I'm able to box up stuff, so I'm gonna put that in a box. I'm gonna think about that overwhelming thought later, not right now, and I'm going to, what can I do first? What do I need before anything else? And I will do a pass on that. So first of all, what do I need to do on these patterns? Because there's so much, is, okay, I need to know what the patterns are. Before anything else, what are the patterns? Okay, so let's start there. And now, how do I identify the patterns? Okay, and then you just like drill down. Okay, and now I'm going to start here. I'm not going to think about all the rest of the stuff right now, because it can be overwhelming if I think about all the rest of the stuff right now. What can I do right now? I've already done, based on what I've already done. I've already done a rose thorn bud on this. I played through it and I've done a rose thorn bud. Okay, so now I can grab the roses and I can categorize the roses. Okay, good. That's easy. I can do that. Let's do that. And then I will, okay, now I'm categorizing them based on my own. Okay, I can do research later to see how other people would categorize it. Okay, but later, right now, I will do it because I need to know, again, what's the content before I can do research on the content. I need to know what the content is. Okay, so let's focus here. I've got the patterns. I need to know more about the patterns. So I'm going to categorize the patterns. And then once I categorize the patterns, I've got this video of me already playing it and talking about it. Okay, that's going to take a lot of the load off of me having to write all this stuff later, because I've already been talking about it. Now I'm going to go scrub the video of me talking about it, put timestamps in there, so that I can go back later and reference and dig in and write all the additional patterns. So it's me doing little passes, pass, pass, pass. And then it's like a snowball effect where starting small so that I don't get overwhelmed. And then I will snowball, snowball, snowball. That's, and another thing is like how you pay off debt too, because I've done that before. I've been in life happens. And if you're like trying to pay off debt or something, and you can be really, really overwhelmed about it because life kicks you hard sometimes, and it happens to all of us. Don't hate yourself for it. But if you want to get out of that, you would just snowball it. Start with the lowest thing that you owe money on. The smallest thing that you can do. Do that thing. Don't worry about the principal interest if you're paying off debt or anything. Just what is the smallest thing that you can do? Because it's not about, if you get overwhelmed by the largeness of the thing, you're going to be discouraged. So start with the small. What can you do that's small? and then snowball it. So what's the next thing you can do that is a little bit bigger? Do that thing next and just snowball, snowball, snowball until finally you've got something. That's how I do it. That's how I do, like, when life kicks me and I get in debt and I have to pay off debt, that's how I do that. I'll start with the smallest debt, pay that off, take that money that I was paying on that debt, pay off the next debt. Until snowball, snowball, I've got all my debt paid off, and I've done that before. And right now I'm going through that again because COVID kicked me really hard. So now, but that's also how I do my content. That's also how I've created everything that I've done so far, is snowball. I start small. I do multiple passes until it grows and grows and grows into something bigger. And so that I'm not overwhelmed by what it is that I'm doing. And I can do a lot more because I'm not thinking about the end. I do like a little bit, but I'll like put it off because now I have to like focus on what can I do now? What can I do next? What can I do next? And not overwhelm myself with what is going to end up being later, because that's still organic and that can still change too. So it's a snowball, but it's also, you don't always have full control of the snowball, but you can do, because it could turn into something better than what you had imagined